Welcome back to our channel. It's always great to have you here. If you're in your 30s, 40s or 50s, or even just approaching that stage, today's discussion will feel like it's reaching directly into your life and speaking truths you've been carrying silently. Let me ask you something straight out. Is life in middle age just about responding to whatever comes your way? Is it merely about surviving one unexpected situation after another? Or is there something deeper, something more resilient, being forged beneath the surface? In this video, we are going to explore the raw, unfiltered reality of what it truly means to live through the middle years of life. Not the filtered, glamorous version filled with brunches and inspirational quotes, but the version that wakes you up in the middle of the night worried about your kids' grades, or your mortgage, or whether your job will still exist in 6 months. Let me take you back to a recent conversation I had with a close friend. Over coffee, they admitted that life had become something they never imagined, a constant state of reaction. The child's education was slipping, the job felt meaningless, and even relationships had turned into duty rather than joy. As they spoke, their voice cracked, not because they were breaking down, but because they were holding everything together and no one ever noticed. This is the hidden reality of middle age. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's quiet survival. And yet, in that quiet, something incredible is forming, a kind of wisdom that can't be taught in books or earned in youth. It's the kind of strength that comes from showing up every day even when no one claps, even when it feels like nothing changes. Life in your middle years is like walking a tightrope while juggling responsibilities, all while pretending you're not scared. You smile when your boss criticizes your work because you need the paycheck. You nod politely when relatives suggest how to raise your children, even though you're at your breaking point. You do what must be done, not because it's easy, but because you've lived long enough to know that complaining doesn't solve anything. Let me tell you a story. A woman in her mid-40s used to be a high achiever. She had degrees, accolades, respect. But as her children grew older and job opportunities became scarce, she found herself at home more than in an office. Society didn't applaud her choices. People assumed she had given up. What they didn't see was the silent battles she fought every day, balancing her family's emotional health, budgeting every dollar, finding meaning in the smallest routines. She wasn't freed in the way that wealth offers freedom, nor employed in the way society validates. She was living a middle life, one that demanded strength, sacrifice, and staggering emotional labor. And yet, she found something powerful in this phase, a deeper understanding of resilience, of quiet purpose, of redefining what success means. Here's the uncomfortable truth about middle age. You are not the hero in someone else's story anymore. You are not the brilliant intern who gets praised for potential. You're the person everyone assumes will just handle it. The dishwasher breaks, you'll fix it. The kids having a meltdown, you'll calm them. Your partner is distant, you'll make it work. At some point, you stop expecting applause. And here's the pivot. This silent competence is exactly where your greatness is forged. The paradox of middle age is this: you become invisible to the world just as your insight becomes invaluable. You don't need to chase validation anymore because you've tasted the shallowness of external praise. You've stopped looking for signs and started becoming the signpost for others. And let's talk about the pressure of parenting. If you've got children, middle age often becomes the battlefield of hope and reality. You want them to succeed, not just in grades but in life. But what happens when your child isn't the straight A student? What if they're struggling not because they're lazy, but because the world has changed and your parenting toolkit feels outdated? In those moments, fear creeps in. You question if you've done enough. You wonder if your child's future is slipping away, and if you are to blame. But here's what you need to remember. You are raising a human being, not a resume. The pressure to mold a perfect child is often a reflection of our own unhealed insecurities. But your child doesn't need a perfect parent, they need a present one. Middle age teaches us to differentiate between what's essential and what's nice. You learn that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion needs defending, and not every failure is final. You begin to value peace over victory, silence over shouting, understanding over judgment. Let me introduce you to a man in his early 50s who was laid off unexpectedly after 2 decades of service. At first, he panicked. He had kids in college, a mortgage, and very little savings. For months, he felt useless. His identity had been so wrapped up in his title that without it, he felt invisible. But as time passed, he rediscovered an old passion for woodworking. He started small, making shelves, fixing tables, and eventually built a business from it. It didn't make him a millionaire, but it gave him back something he had lost: dignity, purpose, and a reason to get out of bed. Middle age often feels like you're being broken. But what if you're being reshaped? Your 20s are for dreaming, your 30s are for building, but your 40s and 50s, they are for refining. This is when you ask, what can I let go of? Who am I without the titles, the roles, the labels? And if I have only 30 more years on this planet, how do I want to spend them? The beauty of middle age is that you stop lying to yourself. You stop pretending things are okay when they're not. You stop chasing what doesn't nourish you. You look in the mirror and finally say, I'm enough as I am. And that moment, that simple, quiet moment, is freedom. So how do we navigate middle age without losing ourselves? We do it by accepting that we are no longer who we were, and we never will be again. And that's not a loss, that's growth. We learn to savor the present instead of obsessing over the past or worrying about the future. We understand that life is not a straight line, it's a series of curves, stumbles, recoveries, and reinventions. We let go of perfection and embrace presence. We forgive ourselves for the mistakes we made and the people we couldn't become. We choose rest over resentment, laughter over bitterness, and connection over comparison. And most of all, we stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger. Now I want to hear from you. What has middle age taught you? What's been your hardest truth, your most surprising joy? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who might read it and feel less alone. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share it with someone who's walking this journey too. Thanks for watching this video. Middle age isn't the end of the story. It's the middle chapter, and that's where all the plot twists happen. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep showing up. You're doing better than you think.